So the message behind is like we wanted people to feel like they belong. Just so many times in Detroit, or people that look like us haven't had the opportunity or a seat at the table.
To see that person, like we've all said, that like didn't think they could own a home and like say, no, like you can, and this is how. I think that's like part of our vision.
Everybody is looking to purchase and invest in Detroit. Our home values are increasing faster than any other city in the country. It's actually about 30%. So when you invest in Detroit, you're gonna get bang for your buck.
This episode is brought to you by our friends at Bamboo. Yes, I am sitting in the podcast room at the Bamboo Detroit location right now, which is where you have seen a ton of the Black Fridays podcast episodes. And the reason that is because Bamboo has been Black Friday's creative hub for the last couple of years. However, it's much more than our creative HQ. It's home to hundreds of entrepreneurs, creators, thinkers, and doers just like yourself. Now, whether you need a private suite that's customized to your liking so that you can effectively get work done, or if you need a space to be able to host a meeting or a conference call, Bamboo has flexible, creative spaces and a supportive community to match. Now, if you don't get anything from this message, I need you to do this right here. Go ahead, click the link to check out Bamboo's selection of private suites at any of their locations. That's right, any of their Bamboo co-work locations. And you can also find a link in the show notes as well to get those details. And it's time for you, yeah, that's right, you, to join the Bamboo community. That's it. Time to get into the show. What up, though, Black Fridays family? Welcome back to another installment of the Black Fridays podcast. Before we start today's episode, I need you to make sure you hit that like button, subscribe, drop a comment, send a video to a family, friend, a loved one, so we can keep this thing going. Now that I got that out the way, we are doing something we haven't done in a while. We actually on location in Detroit at a beautiful mortgage lending firm called Belong Lending, and I'm sitting here with the co-founders with Jalen, Antoinette, and Demetrius. How y'all doing today?
Good. How are you?
Good to see y'all. Appreciate y'all for allowing us in the space, and I actually got a chance to tour it during y'all grand opening, which was dope a few months ago. So before we go any further, I need to establish a couple of definitions for folks who may not fully understand kind of the mortgage lending, financial lending, home buying process, things like that. So you all are a Black-owned mortgage lending firm. What does that mean? Talk to me like I'm 6 years old.
Yeah, so first and foremost, I always like to tell potential home buyers that we're independent brokers. We own our own company, which allows us to access financing from most lenders across the country. So if you're a potential homeowner and you're looking to buy a home, you could walk into a bank and speak to their licensed loan officer that only has their products and rates. Or you can talk to a broker like us where we can take one application, look at your credit one time, and then we can click a button and shop 10 or 12 lenders for our clients. And because we're in the city, we try to keep our clients' best interests in mind when we're doing that and make sure that we get people into homes.
Definitely. So appreciate you for walking us through that. And also, I have to ask, you all have your own histories in terms of the mortgage industry, financial lending, things like that. Why all come together in order to do this thing? You all could have, you was making money. You could have just kept doing your thing individually. Why come together to build this?
I feel like it was important to actually collaborate together. Especially as an entrepreneur, you know your strong suits and your weaknesses. So with me and Jalen and Demetrius coming together, we really balance each other out. Like Jalen is more so like our tech guy. I'm more so like marketing and vision. Demetrius is more of like operations and finance. So it's just important to know your weaknesses and strengths. And then when you come together, you can really solidify like a great business that way.
Yeah, and if I can just add, I feel like we saw the vision of having a team. Like we were doing fine by ourselves, but we just had a bigger vision for what we wanted to build with some of the people that we wanted to collaborate with.
And this is mission-driven work in a sense. This isn't just like another mortgage lending company. What's the messaging and the purpose behind Belong?
So the message behind is like we wanted people to feel like they belong. Just so many times in Detroit, or people that look like us haven't had the opportunity or a seat at the table. And our mission was to come together and make sure people that look like us, or everybody just in general, to have a seat at the table.
Absolutely. So now we're going to have some fun on Black Fridays, which is my favorite part, Freestyle Fridays. So if you all have, I don't know if y'all seen any episodes, know anybody that's been on the show, but I need y'all all to rap. So whichever one of y'all want to go first.
Dropping bars. I thought you were kidding. All right, I got this one. No, I'm kidding.
I can tell Antoinette's probably freestyled in the back of a car before.
Not really. Not really.
All right, well, I'll let y'all off the hook a little bit. So Freestyle Friday is just a random
Okay.
assortment of questions. So I just
Okay.
need y'all to answer each one and answer honestly.
Okay.
We're going to start with a softball. I just want to know what's in all of y'all rotation right now since we talking about music and freestyling. What you got in rotation right now?
Look, I'm more of a neo soul type chick, so I got like Alex Isley on mine. Got a little bit of Kendrick in there. Yeah, and I like what is it, Big X the Blood. I've been listening to some. I like he's smooth. He's smooth. I like it.
I've been playing that new Gunna. It's like 20 tracks long, so I got to go through it and see, pull some tracks out. And I think Chance just dropped the album.
Yep.
Yeah.
I'm trying to give him some love because when he was at his peak, everybody loved Chance.
Right. I didn't know that. Thanks.
I've been listening to the Clips. That's
Okay.
that's been the rotation heavy. Nick Grant, he just dropped a tape, and then I like the Chance. I mean, he's a part of our growing up.
For
But
sure.
I think it was a good album. So
Bet. So now we're going to get a little personal. What's y'all family nicknames?
Uh-oh. I'll start off. I definitely got one because nobody really calls me Antoinette. So my family calls me either Tony or Tootie.
Okay.
Those are my nicknames.
mine is DJ. So
I feel like I had like a childhood nickname. It was like JJ, but now people just call me Jalen or Jay. I don't really have one now.
Okay, bet. In terms of, also another personal question, we're not talking about business right now. This is just from you and your own perspective. What's the most you willing to lend somebody in terms of money without expecting it back? Like if it's $1 over, you're going to be on their head, but
Right.
you're willing
We
to
all-
part with it.
It's funny because we all probably had to lend some people some money.
Yeah,
before.
for sure.
I'm Lenny.
for sure.
You don't have to name no names.
Right.
And not require, and not
Like, if
ask
you
for it
listen, I
back.
need
And
my
not
money
asking
back.
for it back. What's the most you willing to part with?
I think I'm gonna say 200, maybe.
I was gonna say 100. Yeah.
Right. I was gonna say, like, I
If
If
definitely,
it's family,
yeah.
$100. Just keep it. Don't even
Yeah,
worry about it.
100 would be max.
If it's not
Yeah.
family, if it's over $20.
Okay.
I need that money back.
Yeah,
Right?
yeah. And it's not even off the money, it's off the principle. Like, you owe me money. Like,
Right.
why am I
Right.
tracking you down?
Yeah, right. Now, can somebody come back for a repeat loan
Right.
if they already got the 100 or the 200? Can they come back and be like, let me get the extension plus?
No, we ain't doing no stat.
No.
We can't do
No,
stat.
I know. Look, I'll keep lending if they paying it back.
Yeah.
Like if they giving the 100 back or whatever, I'll give it again.
Ah,
Only
okay.
to those people that pay back. You know how that is.
Yeah, but I gotta look at you, Satwa. If you keep asking, like we gotta set a budget or something. We can't keep
And an age limit.
Yeah.
You gotta be out. If you out of college, don't come on. You got one or two times, and then I'm not a cash advance.
You can't keep using me as your life raft. Like, let's come up with a budget.
Have y'all reached the status in life where you, like, the younger people in your family, you slide them a random 20 or a 10 and be like, here, go get you something or do something with this?
I have a lot of nieces and nephews, so I've definitely
Okay.
done that. Yes.
Yeah. Well, just niece and nephews for me. Nobody. A cousin here and there, but niece and nephew for
Nieces
sure.
and nephews.
Okay.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, I got younger siblings, so I feel like I'm already doing that.
Yeah.
Okay, good. Shout out to y'all.
Yeah.
So, do you have a favorite destination or place that you all like to vacation?
I don't have I have a favorite thus far, right?
Yeah.
For me, out of all the places, I keep going back to it be St. Lucia, just because of the vibes and the people were just so dope.
Yeah, those
and it was
pictures
so
were dope.
nice. Yeah, it was a good time.
Nice.
I mean, me personally, my favorite is probably is Ghana, but I've only been there once. I want to get back, but for sure, my favorite place.
Africa's definitely next for me. But I recently went to Portugal. I thought it was dope.
Yeah.
The
Portugal's
coast was gorgeous. It's like one of the best beaches I've seen. Super private, cliffs. So it was just scenic.
Bet. So because we have a focus in Detroit, and obviously you all purposely decide to have your space in Detroit, let's say somebody comes in from out of town, they don't know the first thing about the city. Where are you taking them? Where's the first place y'all going?
What are they trying to do?
They leaving it up to you. They're like, listen, I'm my day wide open. Help me out.
Okay. Okay, so this is, look, I like to eat. And I feel like if you need to know Detroit, we got to go to Coney Island.
Okay.
Period.
Okay.
And we're going to go down here to Lafayette.
Yeah.
Okay.
Coney, yeah. That's the first stop because you gotta get some food, so.
Oh yeah.
I was gonna say Coney Island and then what is it, the DIA?
Okay.
Yeah, those are my first two.
Yeah, I'm thinking like when I got people coming out of town, they're trying to have a good time. So I'm like, shit, we can go to a Tigers game or maybe hit like a little spot after. I'm trying to think like daytime bars.
It's not. We don't have a good ton, or maybe I'm out of touch. I don't know. I don't be
No, we
outside.
don't-
like that.
I mean,
Right.
after a Tigers game, but yeah, daytime.
Daytime is kind of
Nighttime?
tough. Nighttime for sure.
Yeah, there's always something to do. I probably go to Parlay is nice. It's
Yep.
new.
Yep.
Oh, yeah.
Evening
Depending on-
bar is pretty good.
Evening bar's a good spot. If they're trying to like
Yeah,
really
like
get down, you
evening
can go
bar.
to Big Pink or something.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
yeah.
Bet. Well, appreciate y'all for partaking in Freestyle Fridays, even though y'all didn't rap. But
Yeah.
you know, maybe next time.
Next time, catch me.
Should have had it written down.
We have a 16 in the tuck next time.
on the iPhone.
Yeah.
Right.
Got the bars on the iPhone.
Right.
So, in terms of going back into Belong and learning about the journey overall, where did you all start individually in terms of being in the mortgage industry and the home buying experience overall?
Yeah. I started off in the industry at, well, it was called Quicken Loans at the time, now called Rocket Mortgage. So started off there and got my licensing and then transitioned over to United Wholesale Mortgage as an account executive and then been on the broker side here for a little over 5 years.
Well, similar to her, it was Quicken Loans, then United Wholesale Mortgage, and then 2019 it came over to the broker side.
Yeah, very similar, but just UWM for about 7 years and transitioned recently within the last 2 years.
Nice. And on a scale of 1 to 10, how hard was it for each of you to make that decision to say, I'm willing to bet on myself and go out and start to collaborate with my co-founders and work on something for me versus working for these other institutions? Because once again, you know, you probably comfortable lifestyle, you get a check every 2 weeks or however that work out, you know, why bet on yourself? Why go out on faith like that?
I definitely think it's like a personality thing. Some people love to be employees, and I've learned that, but it's something I'm super passionate about, just the transition that we've all made. Just because I'm a firm believer that like there is no such thing as a safe job. Like I've seen so many of my friends get laid off in hard times or, you know, the role changes. So I was just in a position in my life where I was fortunate enough to have saved some money and kind of had some foresight on the industry and decided to just take a leap of faith on myself because I didn't have kids or a wife or anything at the time, or I don't now, but it was just the right time for me. So I was grateful I did.
Yeah. So, I mean, I'm a mother and a wife, and I just needed more flexibility in lifestyle. You know, I didn't want to have to put in for time off and things of that nature. So I had my husband's support. And also, I just have a go-getter mindset. So I always bet on myself. And so, yeah, it was just, had the support of my family behind me, so.
Always knew growing up I wanted to own something. I didn't know what, but similar to Jalen, no wife, no kids. So I knew at a certain point, I just had to, once I had enough saved up or somewhat saved up, I just had to take the leap of faith.
And then what were the conversations like with you all when this thing started to get the inception of it? Like who was it a singular person's idea? Obviously you all come together to make it work, and then the other people that you work with, but how did those conversations even start?
Well, I'll just say I got a view of them. I have a different view of them because they left into like an independent space before me. Mm-hmm. And I was always very apprehensive because I was like, you know, I just finally started making money, only person in my family, like I got to be careful. And then, you know, when I finally did come over to this side, I kind of just felt their energy and what they had going on. I'm like, wait, we have a company here. Why isn't this a company? And I think, you know, timing and circumstances just lined it up so where we needed to, and then it just took off.
Yeah, I mean, we had worked at the same place since 2019, and a lot of changes were happening. And then I remember Antoinette and I had a conversation like, what are we doing? Why aren't we doing this on our own? And we talked, and then we called Jalen. We're like, hey, we think we want to start our own are you on board? And he was like, I was already thinking it. So
Right.
let's do it. You know, so
Right.
I feel like
He was
we're-
already working on it.
So we were already thinking about it. We all thought about it. We just ran, like when things started to change, that's when we forced us to kind of make it happen.
Yeah. And when you all started to get into the thick of it, like what was that moment for you all where it was like, oh, damn, we really got a fully functional business here. Like we actually doing this and making it happen. Like whether if it was the first client or first moment, like what was that like?
Man, to be honest with you, and I'm sure Jalen and Demetrius can both agree, it kind of went so fast.
Yeah.
Just even the development of our business, because literally when we made that decision to collaborate and come together to start Belong Lending, the next month we were setting up a business account and we were doing the photo shoots and stuff. And I feel like it really hit us, no joke, probably when we made the announcement January 1st, like our phones were ringing.
Yeah.
We made a drop on Instagram and all social media platforms, and our team just started coming together because of folks that we already knew in the industry, and we knew we had something special at that moment, for sure.
Yeah. I would say, yeah, for sure, January 1 when we dropped the video, but I think now as it's been progressing, like after our grand opening and all the love that we got in the grand opening and the social media outlets and the news, I was like, whoa, we really do have a company here. So
Yeah. No, I almost forgot, like when we first rolled it out, like I felt like there was like a shockwave in our little small community, like, oh, whoa, like, damn, they're about to do something big.
Yeah.
So I think some people forget, like we're only not even 2 years old.
Yeah.
And I guess it hit me when, I'm calling potential people to partner with and they already know who we are, and they're like, you guys are only a year old.
Right.
And it just kind of showed or told me that like there's a real appetite for what we're doing in the city. There isn't really a lot of people representing, those that are looking to buy a home that might not know how to. So I think just recently, making those phone calls, doing the grand opening, seeing the type of turnout we get, and now just feeling the momentum of people are calling us now. It's been really cool.
And I want to ask y'all in terms of that momentum that you got when you first started, because I had the opportunity to see that via social media, different platforms, and be able to see how you all were starting to build the blocks for it in the anticipation of it. So I knew Demetrius because we had worked together when I purchased my first home, and then started to see you all put those building blocks together. So I know, Antoinette, you said you have more of the marketing brain and marketing skills. What was the approach to being able to get the name out there too? Because one thing that I know about this industry in particular, and obviously y'all the experts, so I'm leaning on y'all thought process, but it's very much you have to market, you have to get your face out there, you gotta meet people, and you gotta build relationships and maintain them. Otherwise, you really don't have much. So could you talk to me like what was the approach to the marketing and being able to get some of that inbound marketing in terms of new customers who may have not even known who you all were as individuals or worked with you before?
Man, I really feel like, and it's something that people still reach out to us and tell us when we're posting on social media, is our branding. I feel like our branding, it's like we're trying to catch up with our branding right now.
Yeah.
We really set aside time and got with someone that put together all of our branding, everything that we did, especially when we post things of all three of us together, really kind of brings our brand out there, and that's how we're able to draw in business, because we already had our own individual brands, and so us collaborating together really made I feel like a big splash in the community that way.
Yeah, and if I could give her flowers, I feel like she was super intentional about like who we brought on, how we built it, the speed at which, and like I think, we're like thinking like money wise, like, whoa, I don't know if we want to spend on that right now. Like we just started, and she like reminded us like of what we had and like what we could do with what we have. So we really invested in, selling that and getting it in front of people.
So let me test y'all knowledge a little bit, because since you all are experts, I want to talk about the market, what we see out there right now, and some of the things that are impacting or is impacting the market and people willing to go and buy homes and things of that nature. So first I would like to start with, could you talk from, I believe we're all millennials, could you talk from what's important from a millennial perspective for people to start thinking about if they want to purchase their first home?
I mean, I would say understand some of the basic requirements. one, make sure your credit's in the right place. At least be managing, looking on some of the banking apps, understand where your credit's at and how that affects. Two, try to save your money because, there's a ton of programs that'll advertise $0 out of pocket. Maybe 1% of those people will ever get that. And just work with someone you trust. Like, you're going to be thrown so many terms and, you're going to be seeing so many homes and a water heater and, this inspection and this cost and this lender. Like, if there's no way that you're ever going to learn everything in time, you have to work with someone you trust to educate you on what you need to know.
Right. And I would just piggybacking off of what Jalen said in regards to the down payment assistance programs. Just millennials and people in general understanding it's down payment assistance. You gotta have skin in the game and you're gonna pay money out of pocket. You can't reach out to purchase a home. You're getting lend like $200,000 on a home. You can't just have $1,000,
Right.
ready, available. And then also making sure what is your comfortable monthly payment. And just know it's your first home. It doesn't have to be your forever home if you're first time making that step on buying a home purchase. So.
And I would say too is that when you, like you said, find somebody that you trust. A lot of times people, go to the first person they talk to or whatever, but you truly need to find somebody that you trust, one, but two, don't listen to the outside noise, because a lot of times people come and they say, oh, my aunt told me this, my cousin told me this, and these people have never even bought a home. So trust the people, or find the person you trust and trust the information that they're giving to you.
Right. And for people's education, I obviously went through the home buying process, so I understand it, but what would you say is your proximity and or relationship with realtors? What does that look like?
That's a good question.
We're 100% realtor referrals here. We're not a lead buy shop, so we pretty much primarily rely on real estate agents. So we're with them pretty much every day,
Yeah.
1,000%.
Yeah.
And their role, like in terms of like their role for a home buyer compared to ours, is like their job is to help you negotiate the cost of the home in terms of, hey, are you going to buy this home for $200,000? Are you going to buy it for $210,000? Are you going to move in 30 days? Are you going to move in 60 days? Are you going to pay your closing costs as a seller? Like, all that is what they negotiate and help you with. And we help you get approved for the financing to buy that house. So kind of need both. You need someone to make sure that you're approved to buy the home, walk you through the financing process, help you understand what you'll pay monthly and out of pocket. But they help you negotiate a contract. We help you get the financing.
Perfect. And so let's talk about the market right now, 2025. What does that look like in terms of the home buying experience? We got a lot of things that's going on. People might be wondering, is the tariffs going to impact me getting a home in sometime this year or in the near future? What does the outlook of the market look like right now?
I feel like the market, I always never just focus on the rates are going to do what they're going to do. They're going to increase, they're going to decrease. And I feel like, a lot of clients want to wait until the rates drop. And I always tell folks, don't wait until the rates drop, because we can always refinance you in the future, make sure you're in a comfortable monthly payment. And also, when those rates do drop, you're actually competing against more people, right? And you might end up even overpaying for that home that you can take advantage of right now with less home buyers out there. So I feel like it's just important to understand what's your comfortable monthly payment, and it's always important just to go out there and invest and purchase a home over renting overall.
No, I love that. And that's definitely something that I think we're all saying every day on the phone to our clients. Yeah. And I feel like there's a ton of things we can say about the market today, but like just for Michigan and Metro Detroit, the housing inventory is still 40% lower than it was pre-pandemic, which means there's not enough homes for people that want to buy. So even if you are on the fence, when you do get in, you're submitting an offer against 11 other people. So, and with tariffs, like Michigan's housing market, there's not a ton of new developments. There's a lot of homes in Detroit that are being rehabbed. It's a big market. So I think for Metro Detroit especially, some of the tariffs can affect housing inventory. 5 years ago, I don't think Bagley was a neighborhood anyone was really moving into. Now you can't get into Bagley. Right. So I think it's definitely slowed down some of the renovation projects. And I don't really see inventory creeping up high enough for people to wait Like, I think the most pressing issue is there even going to be a home that you want to buy? So like, get pre-approved, like fill out an application and see if you even qualify. Like, people are psyching themselves out of buying a home and they don't even know what it means to buy a home. Right. So that'd be my 2 cents.
When you start that process, what should somebody's first stop be? Should they come to you all first? Should they go to a realtor first? Like, where should they buy the house in cash? What should they do first?
A lot of people always go to the realtor first because they see them post online. It looks pretty because they were the ones who's showing the homes, but they honestly should be coming to, if they don't have cash, they should be coming to a mortgage broker like us, because the realtor can't do much with you until they know how much you can actually afford to buy. So they definitely should be coming to us first.
And I got to ask y'all this. What's the craziest scenarios that y'all have had since y'all been in business? Like, as people come to you and say, I need everything 0% down, or how is that
every
work?
week?
Yeah. Seriously.
I got no job, no credit, no money. Can I get a house?
What can you do for me?
Seriously,
Like, no,
seriously. You'll have I just had a conversation and someone just be like, yeah, I don't have any savings. My credit is this. And I'm like, okay, like, I'm supposed to make a unicorn happen out of this. Like, it's crazy.
Do you tell them on the phone, like, you need Jesus first and then come back to us in 6 months?
Basically, I give them a little game plan, but yeah.
Yeah, I think that's like why like, I don't think we want to scare anyone away, but like, that's why pre-approval is important. It's not hurting you for us to actually tell you, hey, yeah, I understand that a program exists. You don't qualify. This is what you actually need. So now, like, at least you know, you have a goal.
Yeah, I agree, because in my process when I was working with Demetrius, I didn't know that I didn't really know how pre-approvals worked and what that looked like. So I thought that I could afford less house than I actually could, based on assets, income, all those type of things. So I think it's definitely important to be able to get those pre-approvals, like you said, and to go through that at least financial forensics of what you're looking at, because you don't know what you don't know. And then also, you may be thinking, I'm about to get this $500,000 house, and really you only get a pre-approved for $50K. So
right. But I think that's what makes us a lot different than other people. Like, when you go to a bank or some of these other places, you call in or you go in and they look at you and they say, hey, this is what we can do or we can't do, figure it out. I think we do a good job of, if we can't get them pre-approved at that time, or we can't get them pre-approved for the, say, $500,000 house, we give them a game plan to say, hey, do X, Y, and Z, and call us in a couple months and you should be able to get you, or whatever the time frame is, to get you to where you want to be.
Yeah, we definitely understand that, especially a lot of people probably in our community might be first-time home buyers, period, in their family. So we do kind of hold their hand like, hey, here's a credit repair specialist that we know personally. We'll follow up with them, just making sure that they're on the right game plan. So we understand folks don't know what they don't know. And so that's why we're here to educate them.
Absolutely. Who would you say is your ideal clientele? So do you only work with people who are looking to do residential properties? You do commercial? Like, what would you say is your ideal client for Belong?
I would say, everybody really, but I think our main niche is first-time homebuyers. Just because obviously our age group, everybody's pretty much primarily first. So I would say that's majority. Our niche is first-time homebuyers.
Absolutely.
Definitely where like the passion comes in too. Like, to see that person, like we've all said, that like didn't think they could own a home and like say, no, like you can, and this is how. I think that's like part of our vision. So first-time home buyers for sure.
And forgive, this may be a little remedial, but I know that it could get a little bit deeper in terms of definition. How do you define a first-time home buyer?
Well, technically, it's someone who hasn't had ownership in the last 3 years. Okay. So if you haven't had your name on a deed or any properties within the last 3 years, you're technically a first-time homeowner.
Gotcha. Okay.
And that's the big thing on the deed, because a lot of people come and say, well, my grandma gave me this house when she passed away. You still own a home. Yeah. Or I bought this house cash from the land bank. You still own a home. They think it's just you had a mortgage. It's the deed of the house shows ownership.
Yeah.
So you all mentioned that you work with people in order to help them start that home buying process, and they should, essentially, you all should be their first stop, or would be a great first stop for the people who need to go through that process to get ready to purchase a home. What does that look like in terms of that roadmap? Could you kind of explain a little bit more of that to us?
Yeah, so one, it's just an online application. So you click a link, fill out some basic information, provide some pay stubs to detail your employment, get a credit check, And most importantly, it's free. I think most people don't realize that, you can have a licensed loan officer give you a roadmap to what it would take to own and buy a home with 15 minutes of work online and a computer. And then we come back, we put together, hey, this is what it would cost out of pocket. This is what it would cost monthly. This is what you are approved for. Here's why. Here's what you're not approved for. Here's why and how to get there. So all that's completely free, which I don't think is talked about enough. So I would just find a loan officer again that you trust and start that process.
Now, you know our people, and sometimes that can get tricky because people will be like, I don't want people in my business. I don't want strangers in my business. And you do have to provide some personal information in order to purchase a home and go through that lending process, especially if somebody is giving you hundreds of thousands of dollars in terms of money. How do you help people? What would you tell people to get over that mentally?
To be honest, I always make a joke, and I kind of bring it back to when you said, how much have you lent somebody that you feel comfortable? So I always say, like, understand you don't want people in your business, but if you were to give somebody, say, $200,000, wouldn't you want to see their bank statements? Wouldn't you want to verify that they actually work where they say they work, or to say the hours that they make? So once you kind of put the onus on them and ask them the question, I've noticed their barrier comes down. They're like, all right, that makes sense.
Yeah, I would definitely agree. I kind of use that approach as well too, but I also tell them like, hey, we're just here to kind of deep dive into your story, and let's just figure out if you're ready to move forward and actually buy a home or not. If you're not, then I'll give you the roadmap to get there. And they usually like, okay, like it's no big deal.
Yeah. And I feel like a lot of people, it's always their credit that they're worried about. Like, oh, don't touch my credit. I don't want. But it's like, this is what your credit is for.
Right.
Like, not all the other stuff that dinged it. Like, this is what it's for, to buy a home. Right. So I always emphasize, like, it's great to build and say, like, build your credit and protect it, but now it's time to use it. Like, this is why you've been protecting it. Like, we're buying a house now, not a couch.
Right.
So I just remind them of what they're doing.
Yep.
So I got to ask, how did you all meet? So I know you two work together and have that background, but how did Jalen come into the fold?
So we all met at United Wholesale Mortgage. So we all three of us worked at United Wholesale Mortgage.
Yeah.
Yep.
Actually, Jalen and I were in the same exact division, but didn't even talk really.
We probably sat like 10 feet from each other, just walk right past each other.
Yeah, seriously.
And I think I was like right on the other side of them.
Yeah.
So we're all basically in the same square. So
it was literally fate.
It really was.
We
I
didn't say a word.
would have never thought like, yeah, I'm gonna own a business with Jalen
Right.
and
Yeah,
Demetrius, because I didn't talk to Demetrius either.
it was just more like
until
hey,
Burger said,
hey.
yeah, like I knew them, but it wasn't like, yeah.
I mean, me and Jalen, we played, basketball and stuff like that at UWM.
He did my
and stuff
first mortgage.
Yeah, I did his mortgage.
Oh, okay, bet. Okay, all right. See, look at how, look at how it all worked out together. So in terms of, I know that you all are co-founders of Belong, but I know that you also have a team that you work with on day in and day out basis. What was it like? So you all got together, put your minds together for this thing to grow. How did you build out the rest of the team?
Oh my goodness. Well, first of all, shout out to our team because our
sure.
team is really family. And literally, we really like each other and love each other too. Like, we really are family, and we plan on keeping the vibe that way the entire time. And then a lot of the people on the team, honestly, we've worked with them in the past, like on the corporate side. A lot of them are even close friends that's been in the industry. And of course, we've done a little bit of recruiting as well too. But
Yeah, and I would say like the people that we have, like she said, are really like, that is Belong Lending. We try our hardest to like push those people because we really think they drive our business and drive the community involvement more than we do now. But yeah, I don't think it was super intentional at first. It was just, fate for a lot of those people. They immediately saw us. They're like, that's who I need to be with. Right. And we're like, you are who we want. And it's only recently that we're trying to be more intentional about, okay, how do we grow? Because we have so much opportunity now.
Right.
And so I was telling my wife about this last week, but I went on a trip to the podcast summit in Atlanta, had an interesting interaction with someone who I told them I was from Detroit, born and raised, and they were like, ooh, I'm sorry to hear that. And so, thank God, he been working on me over the years because interaction could have been a lot different. Yeah. But to that point, I would like for you all to educate folks who may live in the suburbs or moved away and would like to move back, why you feel like they should invest in getting some property and or a home in Detroit.
I cannot say this enough. I've actually have 2 clients, one in New York and one that's living in Seattle. And everybody is looking to purchase and invest in Detroit. Our home values are increasing faster than any other city in the country. It's actually about 30%. So when you invest in Detroit, you're going to get bang for your buck, opposed to most of these other cities in the rest of the country. They're appreciating slower in value. So
Yeah, no, for sure. We all have people calling us I have people from Amsterdam, LA, Texas, Florida. Like, while other people are talking negatively about the city, like, we're choosing to invest in it because we see the vision. So yeah, I think Detroit has so much of value for any potential homeowner.
Speaking of Detroit, we're sitting in y'all brick and mortar space right now. So I would love to know, amazing space, by the way. It looks beautiful. You all did your thing with that. What was in the space where the industry that you all work in? I think a lot of people probably take the liberty of being able to be more flexible with their space. So maybe just have a co-working space or work from home and be able to do everything digitally. Why was it important for you all to be able to have a physical space?
I think it was important for us to have, because it's just we were in Troy and we wanted to be, if we want to serve the community, we wanted to be in the community. So we wanted to have a space within the community to be able to come in and people could walk in and come see us. So we thought it was important to have a space in the city where anybody could walk in and see what we got going on here.
Y'all had a nice function for the grand opening. Y'all thinking about turning this into a club, do some brunches.
Man, hey, I feel like we get that question so often now. Like, the people that didn't come are like, "Damn, when are you guys doing that again? We need to."
Right.
So,
but I think our team has been behind our backs. I don't know what's happening, but I think we kind of hear some things that they're trying to do something every quarter, but we don't know what they're actually doing. But
right, yeah, we waiting for the invite.
I mean, when we were setting up, that's not a bad podcast situation. So Belong podcast coming sometime soon. Possibly run out to some other podcasters.
That's a good idea.
I think we definitely want to create more content. So.
Yeah.
Podcast the easiest way to do it. You know, we can talk offline about that.
Right.
For sure.
So can you tell the people, because I forgot to ask this a little bit earlier, but could you tell them what services you all offer and how they might be able to tap in or benefit from those?
Yeah. So first, we offer mortgage financing if you're looking to purchase a home. So initial financing. And also, if you own a home, we help you access your equity through home equity loans or to refinance your rate. So if you're looking, maybe you're in a 7% interest rate, rates have dropped, you want to refinance into a lower payment, it's also something that we offer. If you want to contact us, you can go to our website, belonglending.com. Should be an apply now button. You can see all of our contact information. If there's a loan officer you prefer to work with, find us there.
So let me ask you this, because both of you had talked about refinancing. And so I just recently learned what that was about, because I was thinking about refinancing my car. And then I had thought, I learned that basically you essentially start the process over again at a different rate, preferably a lower rate. How does it benefit someone to refinance a home? Let's say I've been living in that house for almost 20 years and I can get a better rate now, but I would have to start my process over. What does that look like, and why would it benefit somebody to refinance? And when would it benefit someone to refinance?
I feel like it would benefit you. Of course, you want to reach out if it makes sense. If you're going to be saving on a monthly basis, that makes sense. Or if you want to tap into your equity, like Jalen was saying, to pay off maybe your vehicle or to pay off like high interest credit cards, it makes sense to refinance. And a lot of people need to understand, when you refinance, you don't have to start all over. You don't have to start all over at a 30-year. We can customize and do a 29-year, 28-year, 27, however many years you're actually into your mortgage. So you can save money with that, or you can shorten your term, take cash out. There's several different options to take advantage of.
Yeah, I think we do. Well, what I like to tend to do is that even we go to the shorter term, or say you've been in your mortgage for 22 years or whatever it is, and we still can put you in that exact term, just lowering the interest rate. And most times, if we're able to lower the interest rate enough, your payment's not going to change much, but you're going to save interest over the life of the loan. So that would be the benefit of that.
Got you. And question for you: what would be, based on there's a lot of different programs, resources, even in the city of Detroit. They have like, I want to say down payment assistant. Correct me if I'm wrong on that, but they have different resources in case you want to purchase a home. Do you all have like a playbook or anything that comes to mind as to if I wanted to purchase a home today, let's say credit is good and all that type of stuff, and I'm ready to go, the cheapest way that I can be at, how can I save the absolute most money in terms of actually securing that home?
Yeah, shop your options or work with a broker that can shop, because lender A might be more expensive than lender B, and you're not going to fill out 10 applications and get your credit pulled 10 times. So have a broker shop for you. And then understand how to qualify for down payment assistance. So a lender should be educating you on, the income limits, the requirements, some of the basic requirements so that you can get that. And then I would say something that's not talked about enough is just having enough time so that you can use things like seller credit or just the right time in the market to purchase a home where you might be able to get a little bit cheaper. People want to buy in the height of the summer when thousands of people are buying, but they might be able to get a deal on a home in November, December and get credits from the seller. So timing is important, and just working with a broker who can shop and find something for you.
I would also say not all down payment assistance is created equal. So I would focus first on grants, because grants are actually money that they're giving you that you don't have to pay back. A lot of other options are, some of the down payment assistance are actually second mortgages. So they're putting it on a second lien. So if you were to go, they give you say 10 grand and you go to sell the house in 2 years or 3 years or refinance in 2 to 3 years, you have to have enough equity to roll that in or have the money to pay that back. So I would always try and go grant first. And then if you absolutely need it, of course, the down payment assistance is there that, that they put the second lien on the properties.
Any grants out there that come to mind that are popular or people use a lot?
The big one of the big ones right now is the 1% down. So the client would bring 1%. Us as the lender would give you the 2% to make up your full 3% down payment.
Gotcha. Do you all have any success stories or triumphs that you all have been able to experience since you have started Belong? Any clients that stand out in particular in terms of like, we didn't think we might be able to get this deal done, but we figured something out? Any clients in particular?
Yes, actually, it was when the Detroit 25K grant came out. This client, I couldn't go the traditional route, like a 30-year. We had to convert it to a 25-year. And she just had a lot of different things, personally that she was dealing with. We had to kind of like stall on the closing so she can have the additional funds because she had to repair her vehicle and those sort of things. So it was so nice that we were able to take advantage of the grant and also just kind of like stick it out. Like we had to extend the closing, but she's a homeowner. She purchased a home in Detroit, and she cried, and just felt so good to actually help her,
Yeah, and I think we all got stories like that, because again, like I've went to clients' house to pick up tax returns, had people come in, like just went the extra mile for people. But I think I often see people getting taken advantage of for their rent right now. And I was recently able to help like a mother-daughter duo who were both upwards of 50 years old, who had never owned a home, purchased a home that they were living in. And they were so mind blown that their mortgage payment was cheaper than their rent that they cried at closing. So just stories like that of like making sure people understand like the value of ownership and the cost of ownership.
Yeah, I was going to say the most recent one that I had was a guy that had nobody in his family owned a home, and he was so nervous that he wasn't going to be able to afford it or even buy one. And he called me the first time. We weren't able to do it because the credit issues and stuff. I gave him the game plan, and I think 6 to 8 months later, he came back, did everything that I told him, and we closed in like a couple weeks. And he was brought to tears because his wife had just passed, and he had 3 kids, and they eventually bought a house in Detroit, and it was good. I mean, it was weird to watch another grown man cry, but it was a cool feeling.
That's what's up. So we're talking about all the triumphs that you all have been able to have, and what the market looks like, and what tactics people can take advantage of in terms of purchasing their homes. What do you see in your crystal ball for the forecast of the market for Belong, for Detroit, And any parting words that you want to give people, just from your thoughts and your perspective of what might be on the horizon, or what would you like to put out there and see come back? Like what's the big picture for Belong and what you all want to do?
So, I mean, just thinking about Detroit in general, I would say there's still so much room for growth in the city. That's why people still have so much to say about it. So if you live in the city and you know the neighborhoods you're around, think as someone who has enough foresight to see where your neighborhood's going, so that you, as someone who's been from the city and live in the city, can be a part of that growth. Because I don't see Detroit slowing down. Like, I think all you got to do is turn on the news and see all the new businesses and new developments that are coming. There's a lot of big plans for the city. So I would just make sure that you stay invested. And for Belong, I mean, we've got so much in terms of vision for our growth that we just want to do what we can to make sure that we're in front of as many potential home buyers as possible so that we can help them.
Yeah, I would say especially for Detroit, it's almost like invest now before it's too late. I remember maybe just 5-10 years ago, folks were like, buy downtown. But now if you try to get a condo downtown, it's like 400,000 and property taxes, are up. So you kind of miss that wagon, but you can still kind of jump on the train now and take advantage of places where it's still feasible. So invest right now. And then as far as Belong in the future, I feel like we're going to grow and have more branches maybe here in Michigan, more in Texas, and hopefully in other states as well too.
Yeah, I mean, Detroit's a beautiful city. There's a lot happening, and like they would say, the best time is now, because I even think about it. Back in 2014, I had the opportunity to buy one of the condos across the street from Little Caesars Arena, and I got talked out of it for $80,000, and my buddy that actually ended up buying it, he sold it for almost $600,000 earlier this year. So invest in Detroit. I mean, it's the place to be right now. And then, like they've kind of piggybacked, they said, I see Belong growing into other states, other branches in Michigan, and yeah.
Who talked you out of it, and where are those people at, or that person at today? We need to go holler at them.
Yeah, they're still in my life. I don't want to out them.
I feel like if you're in housing long enough, you'll get caught with like, damn, I should have bought that house.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
Oh
Yeah.
man, especially during COVID, there was so much opportunity.
Yeah.
Oh my goodness.
Yeah, that's a whole nother sermon for another day, I'm sure. Well, I appreciate y'all for inviting us to the space, and I love the mission-driven work that you have behind Belong, and definitely encourage the folks that's listening and watching it to make sure that they tap in with y'all. So appreciate everything that y'all doing, and grateful to have y'all on the show today. Everybody watching and listening, we're going to tap in with y'all soon. Peace.